thank you for that. And it was so appropriate because I want to talk about my Christmas miracle today. And when you were talking about the ancestors, and I'm going to be a little bit emotional, but that's okay. Whenever I'm in trouble, I treat, of course, and I do something else too. If it's really something that I really feel like I need some extra help with, I go to my ancestors and I ask them to help with a situation, whatever it is. And sometimes it has, with myself, in the past has had to do with health. Like if I would have a really, you know, trying issue with health, I would call my dad and he'd come and I don't bother him very often, and he'd come and he'd help me. He was the doctor, and he'd open pathways for me so that I would do that. So in this particular case, I did. I called on all my aunts. I called on my grandmother, my mother, and my mother's birthday is today, by the way. I called on my dad. I called on my Aunt Lucille and just all these people to help. And they did, and doors opened. And I want to recognize also the practitioners that joined with them and helped me through this family crisis that I was going through. And I can't go into too much detail about it, but I'll share as much as I can with you. But I just want to recognize them. I would just like them to stand, please, just because I'm going to tell you, you have practitioners in this center that are praying for you when you ask for it. And it doesn't maybe always turn out the way you think it should turn out, but it always turns out the right way. Even though you don't see the right way right in that moment, it always turns out the right way. And when I say the right way, for the highest outcome. And we can't always see that in the moment. And I think it's Steve Jobs that said you can only see how you got somewhere by looking backward. And that's true, because when you're moving forward, if you're really open to the field and to the unlimited potentiality, you don't really see until you get there and you look back, you say, oh, okay, that's how it happened, and then and you do. So in this case, we watched that film, A Boy Called Christmas. If you haven't seen it, if you weren't here Friday night or you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix, please watch it. And they said an impossibility is just a possibility you don't understand. An impossibility is just a possibility that you don't understand. And that makes so much sense to me, because I think somebody said something, I don't know who it was today, so many people have said so many beautiful things, that everything is possible. And sometimes in our lives we don't think it's possible. We just don't think it's possible, but it's just because we don't really understand what's happening. And it becomes impossible to us, but it's not impossible. And Ernest Holmes wrote something like this, that when truth gathers its own speed, it catapults us from where we are to where we need to go. And until that happens, we need to stay where we are. I'm paraphrasing it, but that's basically what it means. And so about 2 weeks ago, it was a very volatile situation in my family that had been going on for many years. And nobody was really paying much attention to it or doing anything about it because people weren't ready. But about 2 weeks ago, he was ready. And he didn't know anything about this besides we were all treating for him. And he was sitting on a couch, and all of a sudden, he had all the courage to get up and walk out. And that was, for me, what was the truth finally coming. And with enough power to allow him to move out of where he needed to go and to move out. So it seems like a miracle, but in reality, I'm going to tell you what it is. It says that there is this thing called spiritual mind treatment, all right, that we do. And then all my ancestors coming. What's spiritual mind treatment? It's just knowing the truth. It's just knowing love. It's just knowing that, in that moment, love is there, peace is there, whatever needs to be there is there. That's the spiritual mind treatment, and knowing it. So we work that. We work it in our own minds, and we affect we do this every Sunday when we come together, and we rejoice and we sing and we move energy. We just move energy, and it's felt everywhere. When this choir was up here singing, that's why I don't know what you believe about the world of conditions, but I know that if we can stay grounded and not get carried away by everything that's going on, we can work miracles. We can work miracles. So when we're doing this thing called spiritual mind treatment, Ernest Holmes goes into this big description of what it is, but he says, to the average person, when a result is obtained by this method of work, it looks as though a miracle had happened. But such is not the case. It is only a miracle, as everything else in life is a miracle. Thank you, Laura. A definite conscious idea has been set in motion in the subconscious field, all right? In the field, whatever you want to call it, he calls it the subjective world, which accepts the idea at right where it is, as you believe, and tends to act upon it. So it's acting upon it. This energy that we're putting out is acting upon our belief. And in that moment that happened, it clicked in. We all clicked in somehow. That's why the practitioner treats and treats. We were treating for over 2 weeks for this. And when the practitioner treats, they keep treating and treating and treating till the demonstration is made. And then we have to trust that the demonstration is made. And we have to trust that everything that happens after it, because that moment that he got up and walked out, it wasn't easy to do that. And everything that happened after that, it looked like it wasn't going to work out. But we kept going, we kept treating, we treated for over 2 weeks, and finally, from that moment to now, everything is unfolding. It was a miracle. Everything changed, everything shifted. And I'm telling you, if anything happens in 2022, people are going to understand the power of spiritual mind treatment. And we're going to have so many people in this center and beyond having miracle after miracle after miracle in their life. And all it is, guys, is just knowing the truth beyond the world of conditions. It's understanding that spiritual thought force is greater than material resistance. And we're this, right? That's all we see is this, but we're so much more than this. And when we get that, all these things right now that are happening will dissipate, and we'll wonder. We'll look back and we'll go, how did it happen? And we'll go, oh, we were the ones. We held the truth for so long. We held the truth for so long that it couldn't survive, because there's this part where he says that, I hope I can find it, yeah. He makes statements. He's talking about the practitioner. Well, I'll just ad-lib it because I can't find it. It's like he says it has no law to support it anymore. It has to change because it has no law. So if you're treating for something that you are trying to release from your life, and you keep focusing on it, even in resistance to it, or acceptance to it, or resistance especially too, because when we resist, what do they say? What you resist persists, right? So if you keep focused on it, you're giving it law, because you're a law. You're giving it law because you're a law with your thoughts, your beliefs, your intentions, all of that is law. So when he says it has no law to support it anymore, it's because you've taken your attention instead of here, and you've put it over here and started affirming even though you can't see it. So that's the power to me. It has no law to support it. I got that this morning to where it was clear to me. So, oh my God. There's so much, and there's so many miracles that we can have in our life. And Buddha said, and this person that we were praying for is a Buddhist, he said, 3 things cannot hide for long: the moon, the sun, the truth. Get that, because it can't hide. The truth always rises. And what is the truth? It's love. It's peace. Those are the truths. And it can't, but we hide it up, we hide it, but we can't hide it for long. Eventually, enough of us will rise up and we'll say, no, no more. The truth. 3 things cannot hide for long: the moon, the sun, and the truth. Namaste. And thank